If you want to see how we built this new assembly table with 100% pull-out drawers, 5-inch locking wheels made out of 100% oak, stay tuned, because that's what we're going to do today. Good morning and welcome to Memphis Monday 237, the 29th video of year 5. Today we're going to be building a new assembly table. Also diet report 207 today, so still slowly going down. I didn't really get a head start last week's video took a little longer than I thought it was going to, so I didn't get a head start on this one like I wanted to, but we'll figure it out together. So let's knock off that chit chat and start doing some figuring out. My goal in our shop improvement program is to make all our furniture with this oak fronts, similar to these cabinets here. Over there, even our workbench. And down here, our toolbox outfeed table for the thickness planer. Storage container there. Back there we got our new chop saw. So what in the world is happening here? I got these clunky stands underneath this table. This was started out a year and a half ago as a temporary deal, but I liked it so much I kept it. Problem is it really looks clunky. The wheels don't lock. It has no storage, so all this space is wasted. So my goal is to make 2 stands, similar to the concept of this, a stand here and a stand here. Keep the plywood across the top, but have 2 small cabinets underneath with big 5-inch locking wheels. Now this is my notion of what I think each one of the stands are going to look like. Could be made from oak plywood, 24 inches across, 36 inches long. Be 29 inches to the top here, but the cabinet itself is only 24. Because then we have 5-inch wheels with locking mechanism. And it'll be very similar to the other cabinets we have in the cabinet itself. These are the 36-inch sides here. Now there'll be a center brace that goes through the center, and I think I'm going to double that brace up. And here's a little sketch of how that center brace will be put in there. And these the drawer fronts the drawers will fit in. So I'll have drawers going in from the back and the front. So this is our cut list. The cut list will be fairly simple. I need 8 pieces of wood that are 35 inches long, 23 inches wide. The center inserts are approximately 21 and a half inches wide and 23 inches tall. So this is something we don't talk about a whole lot, but when you when you cut out a whole bunch of different pieces, it's helpful to make a scale drawing of the piece of plywood you're going to be cutting, and then you can lay out your cuts on that plywood to make sure it's all going to fit. Okay, let's execute this cut list. Let's cut out our 35 and our 21s. And so here you can see I got the plywood set on that table right there. And when I grab a hold of it, I can just kick that bench out of the way and it won't be in my way. If you're a woodworker, you probably wonder why I put up with this big, clunky, heavy sled. And this is the reason, because I can cut things that are almost 30 inches wide and 8 feet long on this thing. Well, there's our stock for both of our cabinets, 4 sides and then 2 dividers. And due to our planning, there's no leftover wood, which is nice. Well, since we're making 2, I went ahead and put this one together. What I've done is I've put the top and bottom on top of the sides because all my weight's going to be going down. Now this one I put together with brads and glue, and then I put this double sheet, this double divider back here, and I put that in with pocket screws. The one we're going to do now, I think I'm going to try putting the sides in with pocket screws. I've made cabinets using pocket screws before, but we've never done it on this series. A lot of folks don't like pocket screws, but they work fine as long as you don't try to do something with them that they weren't designed for. And this is exactly the kind of job they're designed for. Fitting my first divider here seemed to fit as well as it's going to. Now I need to put pocket holes all the way around the divider. Now in order to line up these dividers, I've put these center lines in here, and then I can just go along and put some glue in. And once my glue's in, you can see the glue there. I put my divider in and line it up on those lines. And that'll mean it's plumb. Just reach around here, get it lined up on that line. Now I just got to go ahead and put my pocket screws in. Make sure it doesn't move. As I said, I'm doubling up the plywood in the back. And in addition to the pocket screws and glue on the edges, I'm also gluing the 2 sheets together. So the first one I lined up on that center line, but this one I can just line it up on the other one. There's a second divider, and up here you can see how the divider is doubled up. The dividers are glued together, and then that whole glue up there is held in place with 24 pocket hole screws. Okay, let's put the top on. Okay, the theory is I'm going to, I've already put glue down. Theory is I'm going to put this bottom in place, and I'm going to tack it down with brads, and then once I get it positioned with brads, I'll flip it over and we can put the pocket screws in. Okay, she's in position. Now I'll just flip it over. You know, this is the strongest cabinet in the universe, but it has to be because it's more than a cabinet. It's, you know, it's the running gear for this assembly table. It's got to carry weight. It's got to hold the wheels. It's got to be moved around. So it has to be overbuilt considerably. We got the cases finished, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put the wheels on there, and so we can, they'll be up on the wheels and off the, so we can move them around. These wheels are kind of extreme. They're 5 inches and ball bearing, and got the same kind of rubber they use on skateboards. So what I have now is essentially 4 cabinets. I got 2 on this side, and 2 on this side. I've already started to put the trim on this one over here. I'll show you how we figure that trim out now. I'm putting the trim on. I'm sparing you that, but I will talk about this center piece of trim here. I'm attaching it with pocket screws, and I'm going into solid wood, so I'm using the fine thread. Positioning it, I divided the whole thing into thirds, and then put this at the 1/3 down mark. So this is 1/3 to the center line, and then this is 2/3. So that's logical. The width of this trim, I made it twice the width of the smaller trim. So now I'm going to put in the fine thread pocket screws. The way here, and we've talked about this before, is when you use pocket screws, it's always best to hold your work down with a clamp. Otherwise, it'll walk on you. So what I'm doing here is turning my table around. So that I can be next to the saw when I'm making that trim. I went ahead and built these drawers because of time restraints. If you like a tutorial on how to build these kind of shop drawers, you can go to Memphis Monday 235. I think it came out 13 October, and I think it's called Building a Traditional Style Desk, and we go into some detail on how to make these drawers. But in any case, don't go away, because we still have to make the drawer fronts and the top. We got to get this thing off of here somehow. We got all kind of stuff yet to do. Now we're going to make those these panels here out of oak, solid oak, and we're going to use this this wood right here. But unfortunately, this panel weighs exactly 1,000,000 pounds, so that's where my panel dolly comes in. Pretty neat, huh? I can just push it wherever I want. Well, let's see how easy it is to get it up on this table saw. I think it's overbalanced that way, so I think if I just pick it up off that dolly about a couple inches, I think it'll just fall over on the table saw. That's a theory. Theory worked. So there's your table dolly plans free of charge. How we center these drawer pulls, you want them to be, centered in your board, and you want them to be, level. Otherwise, it'll look stupid. So first thing, find the center of the board. Just take a ruler, and everybody knows how to do this. Just go corner to corner and identify the exact center. So there's my exact center right there. Now I have this little jig right here that's got these 3 marks. That's the center line. And I need to set it on here like this. But the problem is, you know, is it level? I can go by eye and get it pretty close. But what I do is I make a little jig that's exactly the right width. So now I have a parallel line that's parallel with the edges of my drawer front. Now I can center that little line right there, that center line, with the center of my board, and keep this edge lined up with that second line I made. Now I mark those 2 positions. Now I can drill my holes for my drawer pulls. Okay, now I have some layup lines on there, and I'll just erase those off. I'm attaching these drawer fronts with 4 screws. I figure this solid oak needs as much support as they can get. I'm attaching these drawer fronts temporarily before I get the screws from the other side. I'm just putting a couple of screws through those 2 holes we made earlier. Now I can take them out. Then I can drill through those holes and attach our pulls. Lining the drawer fronts up, I've just built up some shims here to get it at the right height. And I position it laterally. Okay, so now I just look along this edge and make sure I want the drawer front to be cut that trim just about in half. And I attach these screws through those holes we made. Lining up the top drawer front's even easier. I got a shim here. That's the height that I want between the drawers. And I'll just put this lining up side to side. And put these temporary screws in place. Tell you what, I'll get some stain on our cases, and then we'll figure out how to get the cases off this bench. That's always good for a laugh. I'm using a stain called Natural. Taking them off sideways so the drawers won't fly open. These things are so big and heavy, I think each one has about 2 sheets of plywood in it. So it's going to be heavy. So what could go wrong? Nothing went wrong. Yeah, but what are we going to do about this this old surface here that's seen probably 100 projects in its lifetime? Well, what we're going to do with our new excellent locking wheels, we're going to lock our cabinets down and pull our new surface right out of the truck. Well, there we have it for Memphis Monday 237, our new assembly table. 100% pull-out drawers. 100% oak, except for the sacrificial maple top we put on it. Real nice drawers. We got 5-inch wheels. It's about 1 inch taller than the other one. The wheels are lockable. I think we did okay. Well, that does it for Memphis Monday 237. Today we built that new assembly table. It's got locking wheels. It's got 8 drawers, essentially 4 cabinets. It's the same size working area on top. The wheels are locking. It rolls real easy because those are 5-inch wheels, and it looks good and it functions good, and I'm pretty satisfied with it. Now we just have to recycle everything from our old one, and we'll be in good shape. Okay, so I hope you got some takeaways. Like and favorite and share and all the stuff do on the internet. But most important, make sure you're back here next week for another exciting Memphis Monday. Thanks for playing along.